everyone, welcome to Hoop Club box 19. So this is our lovely box this month, and you might notice we've got these new stickers which the old stickers didn't really shut the box very well, so we've Braun in our team has designed these and I love them, so that's a new thing. So this month's project is, there's quite a lot in your box this month. So the main project is this lovely house cross-stitch design from Michaela Caulfield, which we love. Second project is again from Michaela, is this gorgeous bookmark. How beautiful, how gorgeous is that? So this is going to keep you busy. This is 18 count Ada, so there are 18 squares for every inch, and we use one strand of thread to stitch this. So if you've done cross stitch before, you can imagine that's going to take you a while, so I like to keep you busy. So those are the two main projects. But we've also got, what we've included is a little, so you don't get the fabric or the cotton, but what we've included is this little rabbit hoop, thinking, you know, we're coming up to Easter, you could make a little decoration to kind of hang around the house or on an Easter tree if you do that. So that's that, and I'm going to show you how to stitch it with just some leftover Ada. So I'm going to look, oh, the other thing is you get a free PDF this month, which we've started doing. We've done for the last 2 months. So you get a download and you transfer the design yourself. So there's a couple of tutorials on my Instagram that show you how to do that. I'll get one onto YouTube as well, in case you're not on Instagram. But the design this month is from my book, which was out last month. March, we're still in March. It was out at the beginning of the month. And if I can find the design, I'll show you. Can't find it. There it is. You've got this one coming on your email. So I'm going to open the box and just show you what's inside. So inside our box this month, we have your magazine as normal, which tells you all about Michaela and gives you the patterns and the instructions. And then this is a really lovely postcard from Michaela, which I just love it. I mean, this is so cute to just pin on your wall or to post off to someone. We've got our little Easter rabbit hoop, like I said, and then you've got all the materials for your kit. So you've got the thread for the bookmark, and then all the materials and the thread for the house. So we'll start with the house. The needle is the same for both projects, so you've got a needle there. So first we're going to get our fabric in the hoop. So you want to just get the hoop central on top of the fabric, then lay the bigger hoop over the smaller hoop and push that on. Actually, Ada's much easier to get tight in the hoop than the normal fabric for the hand embroidery kit. So tighten your hoop, just keep tightening it, trying not to warp the kind of the squares, and then tightening again, just pulling it out. So we've got our hoop. We're going to get our thread ready. We're using 2 strands of thread for this project, so you need to split your embroidery thread. Each length of embroidery thread is made up of 6 strands, so you just pull 2 away from the main length, and that is what we will be threading our needle with. So the needle's threaded, you leave a little tail at one end, don't tie both ends in a knot, tie a knot at one end. And then I'm going to start our pattern. So with cross stitch, we're reading the pattern and transferring that onto the fabric. So we start around the middle, and you're just roughly going to start in the middle of the hoop, and that will coincide with where this red cross is on the pattern instruction. So what I'm going to do is start with these green squares, and I'm going to count how many I'm doing, and then I will just start to build the pattern up, and that first kind of block gives you some context, and from there you kind of add in the other colours, and you know, you count and you know where you're going. So that's basically the the technique. So then to actually stitch your crosses, people do this different ways, and there is no right way, but really what you're wanting to create are consistent crosses all along your piece of work. So if you start by going left to right, top to bottom, left to right, top to bottom, then you just want to keep doing that so that your crosses are consistent. So do whatever feels comfortable for you. I think depending on whether you're right-handed or left-handed, it can feel kind of more comfortable to do one. So I'm just building up my crosses. And then when you've finished a block of colour, then just tie off your thread at the back in a knot and start on the next block of colour. You can see from the finished sample that you're just building up. So I was starting here on this middle bit of the moon, and you just build up your crosses in the same way. It's really very simple, and you follow the pattern. You've just got to do counting and stitching and counting and stitching, and I find it incredibly relaxing and mindful, and I hope you do. Once you have finished your piece, what we're going to do is trim around the edge. I want about a centimetre, no, 2 centimetres to 3 centimetres. Definitely don't cut it too short, otherwise you won't have enough fabric to sit nicely behind the cardboard disc. So we're trimming it down. You need to cut your wadding to the size of the backing disc. Place your wadding in the back of the piece, and then fabric goes down on top of that, and then you finish it all off just by pushing the disc in. And that should sit nicely and give you a beautiful finished piece. I've got loads of fluff on that now. But there's your finished main look. Now at the bookmark. So we have the pattern for the bookmark here. So this is the top and this is the bottom. So this is our finished bookmark, and I'm going to press around, excuse me, press around the edges and then stitch. So there are various ways you can finish cross-stitch bookmarks. This is a simple way, but you could back it with felt. You could do a similar thing. You could press the edges and then back it with felt. But we're just going to really simply, so that's about 1 centimetre, I've pressed that edge, and then I'm going to do that the whole way round, and then we're going to just do a little running stitch so that it doesn't fray. So this is how we finish off the bookmark. So because you don't want your corners to be bulky, what you can do is something called a mitered edge. So I've already pressed these long ends. Then at each corner you turn over a little triangle of thread and then press the bottom end. Then what that gives you, just helps the corners to not be so bulky. So I would then, what I'm going to do is pin that together. So when you turn it over, it's just going to sit a bit more neatly than if you just folded it over normally. So we have an extra project to share with you this month. So this is the 3rd project, and what we've given you is this little rabbit frame, little hoop frame, and I'm just going to show you how to make a little decoration for your Easter tree. Is some 14 count Aida, some black thread, a pair of scissors, a needle, some craft glue, some twine or something to hang your little decoration with, and then one of these little bunny frames, which has 3 parts to it. So when we're doing a little bit of sewing, a bit of cross stitch that's this small, you don't really need a hoop. Well, you wouldn't get a hoop that small anyway. So we're just going to stitch the design, which you can find on our website, and we're going to do it. I've tied a knot in the end of my thread. We're just going to stitch the design on. You just need to count along. Use 3 strands of thread to stitch the design, and I'm going to split my embroidery thread. We need to wrap the fabric around the circle, so getting it into position is probably the hardest bit. So I think that's pretty central, so I'm going to take the bigger bit and just like a normal hoop, place that on the top, and push it through so it's capturing the fabric in the hoops. It's quite tight. And then what we're going to do is cut off this excess fabric. We want to leave about 1/2 centimetre. It needs to not be too bulky so that the back, the wooden backing disc, sits on nicely. And I've just put some glue on the back there, and now I'm going to press down the fabric. So I've pressed down the fabric, and now we're going to put this backing disc on. So we just need to glue around here. And then place it on top. And you're going to need to squeeze it together. What you might want to do is use a little clip to get it to stay. It should be okay without, but you want it to be really secure. Use a little clip. And then once you're done, you just need to get some twine, put that through the hole, and then you have got the cutest little Easter decoration for your Easter tree.